Hey everyone, it's Jenny at JC Cards, and today I'm joining you with a card that I've made using the June 2019 Hedgehog Hollow box. It's got lots of fun ocean imagery in this box. I'm going to give you a quick look at what you get in the box. This is quite typical of the boxes you get each month, but if you want to skip this part, the actual card making starts around the 2.5 minute mark. So in every box you get a piece of candy or a sweetie. This month, as it's a ocean themed box, you get this cool seahorse, and you also get a card that tells you a little bit about the box, tells you what's in it, and there's a cool picture on the front, and I do collect these. You get this Nuvo glitter marker for subscribers. This is Athenian Blue. It's super sparkly and I am going to use it in my card today. And then there's a number of stamp sets this month. You actually get 4 stamp sets. So there's a number of really great sentiments. They can go on any card in that small stamp set. You get this one that has this really cool, almost Zentangled looking fish. Reminds me a little bit of Amber from the design team's cards that she makes, the images that she Zentangles. You get this great scene builder stamp set which has lots of cool waves and seaweed. And then there's this set that has layering stamps. So there's different seaweeds and then there's this really detailed seahorse that's actually 3 layers. And it looks really dimensional when you stamp it. You also get a number of pattern papers and cardstocks and this awesome shiny piece of iridescent plastic. I just had to use it for a shaker card, so that's inspired my card for today. Here's a look at the 24 sheets of pattern paper. These are exclusive to the Hedgehog Hollow. It's very thick, one-sided glossy pattern paper. There's some great kind of watercolor images, very abstract, you can use them for anything, and then there's some very scenic jellyfish, seahorses, seaweed, and look at these jellyfish, really cool. And then also in the box you get a number of envelopes. So there's some light blue envelopes and some navy blue envelopes to go with your ocean themed cards. These are really high quality envelopes. And then you get some A2 size panels of cardstock, including one that is textured. There's also some white card bases in the box, and I'm using I've trimmed one of them down to A2 size and I'm going to be doing some stamping. I'm picking a number of images from across the different stamp sets. I'm going to build a scene with a seahorse and a number of the shells across the different stamp sets, and I just figured I would stamp them all in one go. So I'm using my Mini Misty to make that a little bit quicker. And I'm going to be stamping them with Nuvo Hybrid ink. This is a black ink. It came in, I think it was the April 2019 Hedgehog Hollow box. And I'm going to be doing some Copic colouring, and this works great for stamping. It does super detailed stamping, which I've always been really impressed with it. And it also works great when you're doing Copic colouring. So you'll see the colours I'm using. I've put the cap over on the right hand side and I've just sped this up really quickly. But you'll see I've only used one layer of the seahorse because I wanted to colour in the dimensional elements with my Copics. And it's really super simple colouring that I'm doing here. And I've used some blues for the seashells, and I'm using that Athenian Blue Nuvo glitter marker for that large seashell. And I did go over it with some normal Copics and blended it out just to give it a little bit more kind of dimension. And then I've trimmed them out, fussy cut them. That was a little bit time consuming, and now I'm going to be sticking them directly onto this panel of the pattern paper that I've trimmed down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I'm just sticking them all over. I'm actually using glue runner. I considered using foam tape, but I didn't want to get my sequins in my shaker stuck behind it, so that's why I did them directly onto the pattern paper. I've now cut these frames out. This is an MFT stamps die. It's not in the kit, and I've die cut it 3 times from the white cardstock that you get in the kit because it's quite thick. If you're using thinner cardstock, I'd remember cutting it 4 or 5 times, and then I've adhered 2 of them together. I'm going to sandwich the iridescent plastic sheet between the two I've adhered together and the top frame, and I'm just roughly cutting it. I've lined it up over the top of my frame and then used some large scissors just to trim it down. Doesn't matter if the edges are a bit rough because they won't show. And then I'm using the same liquid adhesive. This is art glitter glue, it's my favourite glue, and it dries clear, and I've just added that over the top. Now for my third frame, I'm going to use the same Copics I used to colour in the seahorse and the shells, just to colour in my frame. So it's really quick and simple. Make sure you protect your workspace because you're using Copics and it's very hard not to go off the edge. It's just much easier to scribble it on. And then I went back in and blended the colours a little bit. And I've gone with a bit of an ombre look here, and then I'm adding it back over the top, sandwiching that iridescent plastic sheet between my top frame and the two below it. And here's a quick look. I just love that. Look how it catches the light. It's pink one way, it's green the other. And then I'm going to add some really thin foam strips. These are quite thick foam strips. They're from Doris, and I've added those all around the outside of the frame. Now for my shaker pieces, I went back through my stash and had a look to see what would look good in an underwater ocean scene, and I found these bubbles. These are tiny bubbles by Honeybee Stamps, and also these shell sequins, and then I found a mix of blues and greens and clear sequins, so I've added them all in. This is almost a full front panel shaker, so you need quite a few bits in there, but don't overload it too much. And because we've added the dimension with the double die cut frame and the foam tape, they shake around no problem. Now you'll see I did cut my pattern paper bigger than I wanted it, and I've gone back and just trimmed that off with my paper trimmer so it doesn't peek out. And then I'm going to just use some glue runner to adhere it to a card base. This is an A2 size card base that I have made from the white cardstock in the kit. Now for my sentiment, I'm just going to stamp that onto a scrap piece of white cardstock in some blue ink. I've mounted it on foam tape, and I'm just going to pop it directly onto the front of the panel, and that finishes my card. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll give a link to the Hedgehog Hollow's website and the subscription box down in the description box below. You can get it on 1, 6, 3-month subscriptions. They do ship internationally as well. They're based in the US, and all the details are over on the Hedgehog Hollow website. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye!